Hi, we have found our audio issues solved now. Um, I'm gonna have this beautiful cord hanging from my ear because some reason my tripod is not happy with how the camera situation is put up, so we have microphoned ourselves. Welcome to our live stream. If you have tuned in the last 2 seconds, this is take three, but third time is a charm, and we have audio this time, so that is much better. Thank you, Ember. Welcome back to yourself as well. I guess now I could have been upstairs, but I am downstairs in my home studio. That is why I did not bother cleaning up anything because I want to show y'all a little bit of my creative disaster. I'm sitting in the corner of my studio, so there is things all around me. I have a shelf up here that I just leave for like art pieces from some of my friends as well as other people I admire and get inspired by. I leave that up here. I have a little desk that I'm going to be working on for our workshop today, and then I have another lower section over in there where I work with clay more. So, welcome here to my studio. Hope you are having a lovely winter break. I'm having a happy winter break because it is getting a lot less cold, so that's making me happy. I have a lot of shoveling to do today, so I'm gonna pump that iron or snow, pump the H2O. I don't know how it works. And we're gonna do a little art demo together. If you had tuned in earlier to our other demos, I did the one on Tuesday. The sound was a little bit underwater, so that was not ideal. If you want to watch it, I'm hopefully sure there is a closed captions button that you could press and hopefully picks up the sound. Otherwise, you could just like watch it to some music of your own or mute me because I do sound like I'm underwater with little like hops of sound coming through. But we did some drawing exercises. We did drawing our breath. So I took the pencil and I kind of like every inhale I drew up and every exhale I drew down, but in the kind of like those pauses in between where I really held on to my breath, I like had like a little bit of a line and then I bring it down. So that was a really nice way to get into the flow of some art and some working and just getting my pencil making art on the paper. I talked a little bit about how I was using a sketchbook that I had made. I bound it and I went to the Goodwill and found a really nice book cover that I wanted to put onto the sketchbook. And I was just emphasizing the importance of not keeping things precious in sketchbooks. I really admire artists who just use them to expel all their thoughts. So if it's a grocery list in the corner, if it's a really crazy doodle of something you want to do in the future, if it's just your thoughts about projects you want to do in the future too, writing those out, if it's actually creating a masterpiece, as you will say, and you'll claim it as, and you'll really love this piece that you put in your sketchbook, whatever it be you make. Continue putting art in there and not making them precious. And, maybe keep a special one for all those projects you want to turn into larger pieces in the end, or keep it just open and use all your pieces there that are what you want to put on display. I don't know. That's what we talked about. Sketchbooks. And we did some others drawing exercises of like drawing the room around us and whatnot. And then Ollie was on Tuesday. Nope. Ollie was on Wednesday. Ollie was yesterday. And they did a progressive abstraction drawing. So they would start with drawing one item detailed enough or just recreating it in a drawing, and then continually drawing the same thing over and taking more steps. Again, there's no time limits to these. I feel very stressed when I have a time limit to my drawing. So I always try and steer clear of those exercises. They are cool and they're great to get you like loose, but I find that there's more ones you can do that aren't as stress inducing. And I feel like the ones that I did on Tuesday and the ones that Ollie did yesterday are those ways. So again, with Ollie, drawing one way, the next drawing you do of it, you do a little bit looser. The next drawing you can just leave it as abstracted shapes before. My favorite was we were talking before we went for the break for the holidays, and they were saying how the example is starting with drawing a shrimp, and then as you progress, it ends to be a hot Cheeto. And that was the best. So draw a hot Cheeto shrimp. I digress. Today's workshop is tissue paper flowers. If you have any of this, oh, this is going to be really bad for sound, any tissue paper left over from the holiday season, as tattered or as brand new as it is, or you were at Studio Central on one of our last days and you picked up a little pack, there was some tissue paper in there. It just had like some tissue paper and like drawing supplies and stuff like that to keep you busy over the holidays. But if you had them, go grab them, take them out. We'll do some flowers together. And if you don't have them, well, hey, you can grab any tissue paper anywhere. Other materials you're going to need is just like a scissor. I couldn't find my favorite scissors, so I have these ones. And something to tie the middle up with. You could use those pipe cleaners, and that could be kind of like the stem of your flower. I'm keeping in the theme of reusing gift wrap, and I have a ribbon that I'm going to make it work with. So I'm going to use this ribbon. That's all I have. I have tissue paper, a ribbon, and scissors. And we're going to see how we can make some beautiful flowers together with that. But thank you for joining our live stream today. And I said earlier, I might have said in this video, but there's been a little bit of confusion with me fixing my sound. So my name is Marissa. Hello, happy to meet you if I haven't yet. If we are friends and you hang out at Studio Central all the time, hey, hope your day is well. And we've been doing these live streams together normally throughout the year. We do them just on Fridays with Kate and Ollie, and they're lovely and fun, and I'm always at Studio Central doing our in-person workshops and our in-person just studio hangouts, which is really awesome. But if, I used to do these during our lockdowns and when we were away from being open at studio, and I was doing them every single day, and now it's almost been like a year since I've done a live stream, aside from the last one we did, but the sound was awful, so we're back at it now. And it's just a cool way to connect together, give you folks a little bit of creativity if you are at home right now, or just, watch some art, learn something new maybe. It is a live video, so this is a live stream from my basement. Again, if you had tuned in earlier, we had some sound technical difficulties that Amber and I were resolving, so that's what you kind of get with a live stream. But within the same fashion, if you are watching this as I am streaming and you do any comments down in the section, sometimes there's a bit of a delay, but I do get to see them, so it's a kind of a way we can chat throughout. So if you see me kind of pausing and reading or thinking, that's because I'm reading somebody's comment and I'm going to respond. But let's get started. Hopefully I don't mess up the sound quality again while I turn it. Ooh, I think it should be fine because it is just picking up what's in my microphone. But for safety, I'm not going to touch it much longer. I have a little unicorn. It's a piñata. He's not full. Just wants to be there in case. All right. Oh. Don't touch it too much because it'll make noise. Oh, great. Again, hope my sound quality is okay. If you can't hear me too well, just let me know because I can't tell what I sound like at all. All right. Tissue paper flowers. So they're pretty simple. It's something you can do quick, or you can make it more complex, of course, too. Oh, thank you. I love my unicorn as well. A lovely person from studio gave it to me, actually. I don't believe they have Facebook, so they won't be able to see you. But, I love it as well. Very, very sweet. So for tissue paper flowers, we're going to use tissue paper, obviously. Yay! It's kind of up to you how big you want your flower to be, and that's kind of how big and how much tissue you'd use. I don't feel like I want my flowers to be that big, but I do want them to be like moderately substantial. So I don't know. I'm going to cut out some rectangles of my tissue. Here I just have one sheet and I'm going to cut it just along that crease. Oh no, these scissors are quite bad. It's a good thing I don't need to cut too much. And it is tissue, it kind of rips instead of cuts. Oh no, these scissors are like not ideal, but that's fine. We'll make it work, and if not, we can tear it. I'm no stranger to tearing tissue. Okay, cut one. I've cut that one in to 2 very long rectangles, as you can see here. And I only have one piece of red, so I think I might add in some of this fun orange. And I'm going to go crazy and add a little bit of that pink too. So I'm just going to eyeball this and cut this one in half as well. And then that one is cut in half. And we'll add one of these pink ones. And now this pink one has seen its time of gift giving. It is a little bit wrinkled, so I don't know how that'll interact with our flower that we're making. Hopefully it doesn't make it too wrinkly, but if so, that's fine. We're kind of just reusing our supplies from our gift wrapping for loved ones or ourselves. Oh, this one, see, this is how you can tell this gift wrap is a little ripped, so I will use this one. So for this piece as well, I am just going to cut it in half. And we're really going to just hope for the best. This isn't really Christmas colors anymore, but it's fine. I need to make a Christmas flower. It's just to welcome in a bit more sunlight into our springtime. Nice. All right, so I have these very, very long rectangles of tissue. I don't want my flower to be that big, so I think what I'll do is I will just pick how many sheets of each. I think I'll just have a little splash of pink, so I'll just do one of these sheets. And two. The one thing it is important to note is to make sure that your pieces of tissue are relatively the same size to start off. Yeah, this is true. It is Valentine's colors, so that's next. It's coming up. It's fine. But you do want to make sure that your sizes are kind of similar. So I don't know how this pink got so long at the end, but we will trim that off. I just probably folded it different. So we have all these. I think what I'll do is I'll do 2 red on the outside. Yeah, I'm going to do a big one. I'm going to do 2 red, 2 orange, and then a big splash of a single pink on the end. So, again with these, I'm going to cut it so it's moderately the same length. Do you see that? It is not cutting. Oh gosh. I just like crimped it. Come on, scissors. No, it's not cutting. Help! What did I do? I might have to rip it. Oh no, these scissors are so bad. Who hid my nice scissors? Okay, we got it. Oh, that was jagged. Get out of here. We don't need you on this art anymore. Okay, we have all my big papers here. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to open it up, each rectangle, like that. I'm going to move these out of the way so we can see fully what we're doing here. One is going to be the big orange, and then you know what, I think I'm going to do something crazy and fun. I'm going to do the red, and then I'm going to do the other. Wow, fun. Do the other red on top. And now we're going to put the orange. Thank you, Ember, for offering your scissors. Might be a bit of a trek to get, but hey, you know, if I need to cut anything else, I might have to, because it was pretty awful scissor job. Okay, now we have our pink, and we'll have the orange last. So if you did, again, get some tissue paper, in a kit from Studio Central earlier. I believe we did cut them to be like just this size versus this whole. It's kind of like the size around. So you'll just be making mini flowers. But for these ones, they're going to be a little bit bigger. Um, yeah. To tell you the truth, I haven't made a tissue paper flower for a very long time. I believe we did a workshop at Studio Central. But we made really, really big ones, and I used to make very small pieces. And actually, the ones that I used to make, they were just like cutouts of circles. So that's something else you could do is you could cut out just circles of tissue paper and stack them all together. Take your pipe cleaner and pop it through the middle of it, and then twist it, and then just kind of like ruffle up all of those. And it does make a very pretty like coronation almost. But we're gonna do kind of a crazy flower because why not? So when I have my tissue paper folded here, and I believe I have about yes, I have 5 large squares like this stacked on themselves. I'm going to do something called an accordion fold, and what that is just picking up all my paper, make sure I have it all in one hand, and then I'm going to fold it one way, just about an inch or so. It's really, as you can tell, my scissors were awful, so I'm not going to go off measurements too much here. So I have it this way. And now, like an accordion, kind of goes in and out. We're going to fold it that way. So now that I have this one folded here, I'm going to flip this on its back. And we're going to fold it into itself, roughly the same distance as we folded before. And now that we did that, we're going to flip it again. And do similar fold. And then flip it back. And we're going to do this until it reaches the entire end of our tissue. Now you'll notice it's very long, but just wait. Our beautiful, strong scissors are going to play another part in our workshop today. Well, welcome them back for one more struggle of a cut. Folding it there, and I'm going to fold it again all the way to the end. Flip this back. And fold. Now, they're not exactly the same size. You can see that there's some like pieces coming out there and it's a little jagged. It's okay. But what you can see though is if I kind of open it, it kind of like folds out a bit like that. So I'm going to fold it in. And now what we're going to do is we're going to fold this in half. Fold it. And now comes the tricky part. I really should have made this thinner, but that's not the case. And I also do think that these might be too big for their own good. So I'm going to do something real risky. Now that I've folded this very, very large rectangle, we're going to cut it in half down the middle. I'm just worried that it's going to be too big of a flower and not full enough. Okay, it works much better if you have a more condensed thing. So now I have 2 beautiful fans. And now that we have these, now we're going to fold this in half. Yeah, I think this will be a much nicer flower size. So fold that in half and crimp it. And then fold this one the same. And then crimp that. And actually, to be a little different, no, I don't want to be that different. We'll just fold it this way. So now that I have these 2 accordions folded, now my beautiful ribbon comes in. And I think I'll leave a little bit of a longer string to it in the end. That way, when we tie it, we can have a little bit of a tail and we can use that to tie it to something else. Now this is where you could use another piece of, you can use any type of string really. So you could use some twine, you could use a pipe cleaner and make it really tight. I kind of wish my accordion folds of this were tighter, but we'll probably just do a lot of crimping. So now when I'm pulling it, I'm actually going to pull it into a tighter knot because that'll help make the flower look more flowery, if you will. And I'm just going to tie this completely. Wow, watch me tie knots with ribbon. It is very tricky. There we go. We have a very tight knot for this one. And I think I'll do the same tightness of knot and the same same folding that I've done, because I will do one thing different between the two of these, and that'll kind of show off a little bit of differentiation. This isn't a vocabulary course, so it's fine. Okay, so I'll tie this one in half as well. And then tie it tight, the top. And then, so it kind of almost looks like a little bell, or one of those, it's actually exactly what it looks like. It looks like one of those decorations before you fluff it out. And that's kind of where we'll be at now, is the fluffing out portion. The one thing I do want to change is that when you have them here, you see they're just like flat. They're almost like one of those fans that you would make, a paper fan. What we're going to do is each one is going to have a different shape of the petals. So this one is going to be more rounded. So I'll actually just use our very beautiful scissors and round the ends. And I could have done that before putting it in, but I decided to be difficult. But also, I felt like the tied knot here would kind of hold it into that shape more for the rounded petals. And then this one, we're going to do kind of more triangular. So I do want to put it in sort of as straight as I can. One of the nice things about making flowers or drawing leaves or plants or trees is that they always look a little different from each other. So no two trees or plants look the same with how like the leaves grow, or if they were all growing the same leaves but some of the leaves fell off. There's no real big difference from them. So if they look a little bit different when you make them, it's not a problem. So that's kind of why I want to show this flower being more pointed and long and this one being more short and round. But now that we are done this, all we have to do now is unfold it. So a trick to this is what you can do is you can kind of just like open it up slowly. Try to be careful and not tear where you've made that knot there. But it kind of is going to turn itself into like almost like a little bit of a ball of sorts, but I'll open it up here, and then as I do it, I'm going to pinch it from the back. Grab a nice firm grip, pinched from the back, and then now I'm just going to kind of try and pull each one out. And this is good because I did alternate the colors in the middle, so it will be going orange, pink, orange, and then just the red. If you are having some difficulties separating them, you could have some water beside you and just dab your finger a little bit, wipe it off so it's not too wet, and then that'll help you grip the petals of your tissue paper flower. This is where it would be really great to like have some music as I'm doing this, so it's not just rustling, but at least we don't have the sound quality as different. So that's the beginning of it. It doesn't really look like anything, but we'll keep doing that. And then as I peel them up, you can just peel and leave them up and then see how the formation goes. I kind of crimp them a little bit as I'm pulling them just so they can stay. And that's just a matter of like the folds that we did, those accordion folds at the beginning, and how tight those are will be how tight your flower kind of sits up on its own. But from there you keep going. So again, now it kind of looks a little flowery, still looks like a crumpled piece of tissue, but you can keep pulling at it. And again, we did use a very small amount of tissue paper for this size of flower. So you can always add more if you would like, but it's not necessary completely. And it is kind of nice because my scissors were kind of finicky and they kind of cut a little jagged, but it actually works really well for the petals here. I did find an artist while watching some Instagram videos recently, and they have the most amazing like crepe paper flowers, which is a kind of tissue paper, just a little bit thicker, I think, and maybe more textured. I'll find the artist's name and then I'll put it in the comments below, just so you folks, if you're interested and kind of just like you find watching somebody make a flower like this soothing, I would highly recommend watching her. She's so talented and makes like these flowers that look real. I mean, not that this doesn't look real, but aside from that, there you go. That is our flower. Done and done. We have one flower from tissue paper. The really helps with cutting the petals to be a rounded shape, as you can see with this. It looks really round, and then from the back it's just flat. But from the back here that's why I tied like my ribbon a little bit longer, and you can use this to tie it to something else or kind of pinch it a little bit more and like stick that into something, put it in a vase with a few more. But that's really it. It's very simple technique. This is with more of a rounded short base, and now we've done this one with a little bit longer petals. So let's see how this one works out. I'm going to take a sip of my water. I hope you heard a gulp, because that was nice. So again, you can dab your fingers in the water a little bit, just so your hands get able to grasp the petals as you're working with them. But we'll open this one up. And I do believe I had like the orange kind of planned to be the center, so I'm going to also do that. Have the orange in the center again. So kind of fanning it out. This one I feel like the petals are going to be a lot longer. It almost looks like a star already. So now that I fanned it out a bit, I'm going to dab my fingertips in some water and then start grabbing and pulling them out of that accordion shape. Again, be very cautious of how much you are pulling, because you can just tear these. But I just, see, like that, I just tore it a little bit. But that kind of adds to it as well, being like more of a natural type of creation, natural flower. And, you know, all flowers don't grow the same or look the same in the end. So now this one, you can see how long the petals are, long and pointy almost. So it's really interesting to see how this one is going to like differ from that one after we're done. But I'm just going to keep pulling and fluffing these. And again, this is just a nice thing to do with all the, you didn't throw out the tissue paper from your holiday gifts, or you just bought too much tissue. This is a great use for them. It's also great just to save it for future uses, but this is also like a kind of a fun activity for you to do to keep yourself busy. So now we've done all the pink. We're going to go back for that orange. And a technique I like to do is just kind of like holding the back petals in one hand, and then as I go around holding those front ones. And then once I do a full layer of the flower petals pulled up, then I'll kind of look and I'll zhush it at the top and then go back to the red. So we have one more to pull apart, this red here. Whoops. But it's really interesting to see the difference of the pointy petals and flower petals versus the rounded ones. And it's good that I did the exact same colorway of that too. So now we'll just kind of form the base of it to be a little bit more distinct and fluff out that. And there we have our pointy one. So you can see compared this one, because it is shorter, when we have less tissue added to this one, it kind of balances itself a little bit better than this one here, which is longer. But you can see a bit of a distinct difference between the two. I feel like this one would have benefited from a little bit more tissue added in because we were using the longer pieces. But put together, it still kind of creates like a nice floral bit. Very pretty. Yes, thank you. I will swap back here. Hi, welcome back to my corner. I put the slipper underneath a slipper, not the slipper. I put a slipper actually accidentally underneath my tripod, so I hope that jostling was okay. But we have our pointy flower we just made compared to head size. Oh, look! I look festive with the flower in my hair. We have our shorter, smaller one. Also works for flower in the hair. But you can see, you can see now the difference of it when it's against there. Much smaller, spikier. This one I think turned out really well for the size and amount of tissue we used, and the size of it I think looks really nice. You can make a bunch of these and put them on. They could all be the same color, so they do look less sort of cartoony and more floral, but again, flowers are all the same, all different colors. This one might have benefited from a little bit more tissue, but what we can always do too is like some of these longer ones you could like crimple up a little bit more, or again always dabbing a little bit of water on your fingers and crimping them up that way, because it kind of makes them like stick and behave a little bit differently, almost a little bit more natural. So you can always just sit and crimple the pieces together with the water in your hands. And it kind of almost makes it like a little bit more translucent. I wonder how awful the sound quality is. I'm so sorry about this part. But yeah, it's a very short and sweet technique you can do. It's fun because you can do it with kids or anything too. Like if you are entertaining or you have kids yourself, it's a really awesome craft to do with the little ones. It's also fun just to do for people who say that they don't like making arts and crafts, or they're not a creative person. This is a really great activity for them to make something creative, and it doesn't take much skill or technique really, aside from, not ripping the tissue as you're doing it. I mean, picking nice colors, you could do that, adds a bit of skill and technique. I just used with what I had, but very easy and quick, something to do to entertain yourself and keep you busy, and to reuse some of the paper to create a lovely little decor. Perfect. It looks like a loofah, but that's fine. Thank you for joining my short and sweet workshop today. Tomorrow we will have Wynn join us, and we'll be doing a little bit of a cooking, baking show right back to where we were last year this time. So that'll be very sweet and nice. I'll tune in and be in the comments a bit tomorrow. So if you do tune in then, we can like chat and stuff in the comments as we're watching Wynn bake. Otherwise, I will be seeing you all in the new year. I do hope you have a good rest and take time to relax. If you can make art and that is pleasing to you and that makes you relax and sort of be at peace, do that. If it does also help just to read or see if you can spend some time outside before it gets cold, do that. Do anything to make yourself feel rejuvenated and ready to go and take on the next year together with us at Studio Central. I look forward to seeing you folks more soon. And that's all. Enjoy. Happy New Year soon, and take care. Bye bye.